Comfort is not peace. Comfort is decay. Every time you choose easy, you train your mind to stay weak. You don't need more motivation. You need to kill the version of you that keeps hiding in comfort. This audiobook is your line in the sand. Grow now, or stay average forever. Chapter 1. Comfort is a trap. Comfort feels safe. But comfort is not safety. Comfort is a slow leak in your life. You don't hear it. You don't see it. But every day, it drains a little more potential out of you. You wake up tired. You reach for your phone. You tell yourself you'll start later. You have a choice. That sentence is the foundation of this entire audiobook. You have a choice. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Right now. Comfort is not neutral. It is active. It is training your brain. Every time you choose the easy option, your mind learns a dangerous lesson. Avoid effort, avoid pain, avoid growth. That's the key. Your brain does not crave success. Your brain craves comfort. It craves the couch. It craves scrolling. It craves distraction. It craves the illusion of movement without the reality of progress. It's not about laziness, it's about discipline. Most people think they are lazy. They are wrong. They are disciplined, just in the wrong direction. They are disciplined at avoiding discomfort. Disciplined at postponing effort. Disciplined at protecting a version of themselves that is already failing. You don't need their permission. You don't need society's approval to stop living on autopilot. You don't need validation to do the hard thing. You don't need applause to wake up earlier, to work longer, to push further. You have a choice. Pain of growth or pain of regret. Both hurt. But only one builds something. Look at your life honestly. Not emotionally. Not defensively. Logically. Where have you been choosing comfort over growth? Maybe it's the job you hate but stay in because it's familiar. Maybe it's the relationship that drains you but feels easier than being alone. Maybe it's the habits you know are destroying you, but you keep because they numb the stress. That's the key. Comfort always disguises itself as protection. It says, rest now. It says, you deserve a break. It says, just today. But comfort never says the truth. It never says, this will cost you your future. It's not about motivation, it's about discipline. Motivation is emotional. Comfort is emotional. Discipline is structural. Discipline does not negotiate with feelings. Discipline does not care how tired you are. Discipline only cares about direction. You don't need their permission. The world will not push you out of comfort. Your friends won't. Your family won't. Your environment is designed to keep you average, distracted, and manageable. You must be the one who disrupts your own comfort. You have a choice. Most people wait for a breakdown to change. They wait until their health collapses. Until their finances break. Until their relationships implode. They don't change when it's uncomfortable. They change when it becomes unbearable. That's the key. You don't grow when you feel like it. You grow when you are forced to. And comfort removes all pressure. It removes urgency. It removes hunger. It removes the edge that sharpens you. It's not about ease, it's about execution. Every strong identity you admire was built in discomfort. Nobody becomes resilient through comfort. Nobody becomes sharp through ease. Nobody becomes dangerous through safety. They became strong by choosing pain with purpose. You don't need their permission. You don't need to announce your transformation. You don't need to explain your standards. You don't need to justify why you are suddenly serious. You only need to move. You have a choice. Let me give you something practical. Tonight, write down the 3 habits that make you comfortable but weak. Not the dramatic ones. The small ones. The nightly scrolling. The extra sleep. The excuses you repeat to yourself. That's the key. Comfort hides in small rituals. It never arrives as destruction. It arrives as routine. Now write the opposite action. If you scroll, replace it with silence. If you sleep in, replace it with movement. If you avoid, replace it with confrontation. It's not about perfection, It's about direction. One uncomfortable choice today rewires your brain more than 1,000 promises tomorrow. Your nervous system will fight you. Your emotions will resist you. Your mind will invent reasons. That's normal. That's the old you defending its territory. You don't need their permission. Not even your own. Your feelings are not your authority. They are data. And comfort has corrupted that data. You have a choice. Right now you are either training the man you want to become, or reinforcing the man you are trying to escape. There is no pause. There is no neutral. There is only direction. That's the key. Comfort today is suffering tomorrow. The soreness of discipline is temporary. The weight of regret is permanent. And regret is heavy. It sits on your chest when you wake up. It whispers in your ear when you see someone else succeed. It shows up when you realize you had time, you just didn't use it. It's not about potential, it's about practice. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your habits. And comfort is the habit that keeps you small. You don't need their permission. Not your boss. Not your parents. Not your past. Your past is not a prison unless you keep choosing the same comforts. You have a choice. End this chapter with action, not agreement. Stand up today and remove one comfort from your life. Just one. Break the pattern. Shock your system. Teach your brain that you are no longer living for ease. Because if you don't kill your comfort, it will quietly kill your future. You've seen the trap. Now let's expose the next lie that keeps people average. Chapter 2. Average is a decision. Nobody becomes average by accident. Average is not a place you fall into. Average is a place you build. Brick by brick. Choice by choice. Excuse by excuse. You have a choice. Every single day, you are voting for the person you are becoming. You don't vote with your dreams. You vote with your behavior. With what you avoid. With what you delay. With what you allow to slide. That's the key. Most people believe their life is shaped by big moments. It's not. It's shaped by small, forgettable decisions that feel harmless in the moment. Skip once. Delay once. Settle once. Then repeat. It's not about luck, it's about discipline. Repetition of easy choices builds a weak identity. You don't suddenly wake up without confidence. You practice not trusting yourself. You don't suddenly lack self-respect. You practice breaking promises to yourself. You don't need their permission. Not from your friends who are comfortable being stuck. Not from family members who fear your growth. Not from a culture that rewards conformity. You have a choice. Look around. The people who feel lost didn't lose their way overnight. They slowly trained themselves to ignore the uncomfortable tasks that build character. They chose comfort when they should have chosen challenge. That's the key. Your identity is nothing more than the memory of your past actions. If your past is full of unfinished work, skipped responsibilities, and postponed dreams, your brain learns a dangerous lesson: I don't finish what I start. It's not about potential, it's about practice. Potential is cheap. Everyone has it. Practice is expensive. It costs discomfort. It costs ego. It costs your old story about who you are. You don't need their permission. You don't need to announce your standards. You don't need applause for choosing harder. You don't need to justify why you stopped settling. You have a choice. Here is the truth people don't want to hear. Average feels normal when you're surrounded by average. When everyone around you avoids effort, your discipline looks extreme. When everyone complains, your silence looks strange. When everyone settles, your ambition looks threatening. That's the key. You are not broken for wanting more. You are waking up. It's not about comparison, it's about commitment. Stop measuring yourself against people who don't demand anything from themselves. Start measuring yourself against the version of you that keeps avoiding discomfort. You don't need their permission. Your growth will make others uncomfortable. That is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to your future. You have a choice. Let's get practical. For the next 5 days, eliminate one easy habit that is weakening your identity. Not 10. 1. If you always delay the hardest task, do it first. If you avoid difficult conversations, start one. If you constantly distract yourself, sit in silence for 10 minutes. That's the key. You don't need more discipline. You need fewer escapes. It's not about intensity, it's about consistency. Strong people are not strong because they try harder. They are strong because they try even when they don't feel like it. They act while their mind is negotiating. You don't need their permission. Your emotions are not your leader. They are passengers. You drive. You have a choice. The moment you stop negotiating with weakness, your life changes. The moment you stop lowering standards for your own comfort, your identity upgrades. And this is where most people fail. They wait until they feel confident to act. Confidence does not come before action. It comes from action. It is built by keeping promises to yourself when nobody is watching. That's the key. Every time you choose harder, you send a signal to your brain: I am reliable. I am in control. I don't fold under pressure. It's not about feelings, it's about discipline. Your feelings will beg you to stay small. Your discipline will force you to grow. You don't need their permission. Not even from your past mistakes. Your past does not get a vote in your future unless you keep inviting it. You have a choice. End this chapter with a challenge. Write down the one area of your life where you've been settling. Just one. Now raise the standard. Today. Not next week. Not tomorrow. Today. Because nobody becomes average by accident. They choose it. And you don't need permission to choose harder. You've seen how average is built. Now let's expose the enemy inside your own head. Chapter 3. Your brain loves weakness. Your brain does not want you to succeed. It wants you to survive. That's not a flaw in you. That is biology. Your mind is wired to avoid effort. To save energy. To keep you safe, not strong. And that wiring is the invisible force behind almost every habit that is holding you back. You have a choice. You can keep obeying a brain that was built for caves and comfort. Or you can train it for a world that demands discipline. That's the key. Discipline is not natural, it is trained. No one is born focused. No one is born resilient. No one is born consistent. They are built. Repeatedly. Through friction. It's not about talent, it's about control. Talent makes things easier. Control makes things possible. Look at your life. How many times have you told yourself you would start tomorrow? That was not laziness. That was your brain choosing safety over growth. It felt effort ahead and it pulled you back. You don't need their permission. Not from your genetics. Not from your past. Not from the story you tell yourself about how you are just wired this way. You have a choice. Your brain will always suggest the comfortable option. Always. When faced with discipline or distraction, it will push distraction. When faced with effort or escape, it will push escape. That's the key. If you wait until your mind agrees with your goals, you will be waiting forever. The mind is not your ally in the beginning. It becomes your ally only after you train it. It's not about feelings, it's about discipline. Here is what training your brain actually looks like. It does not look like motivation. It looks like repetition. You choose one hard action and you repeat it until it becomes automatic. Not because it feels good, but because it builds authority inside your mind. You don't need their permission. Not from your mood. Not from your energy level. Not from the excuses that sound logical but lead nowhere. You have a choice. Let's get practical. Pick one behavior you avoid. 1. Not 5. Not 10. 1. Maybe it's waking up on time. Maybe it's finishing tasks without distraction. Maybe it's sitting with silence instead of grabbing your phone. That's the key. Now you do that action every day for 7 days. Even when your brain screams. Especially when your brain screams. It's not about comfort, it's about control. Each repetition is a signal to your nervous system: I am in charge. Not my impulses. Not my fears. Not my old habits. Your brain will resist this. It will generate discomfort. It will flood you with reasons. It will try to protect the old identity. You don't need their permission. Your brain is not your boss. It is your tool. You have a choice. Most people never train their mind. They negotiate with it. They bargain with it. They let it set the rules. And then they wonder why they feel powerless. That's the key. Power is not something you feel. It is something you practice. It's not about intelligence, it's about discipline. Smart people quit every day. Disciplined people finish. Your brain does not become strong through understanding. It becomes strong through obedience to structure. You don't need their permission. Not from your past failures. Those are lessons, not life sentences. You have a choice. Here is another shift. Stop asking, "How do I feel?" Start asking, "What do I do now?" Feelings change. Commands don't. That's the key. Every time you act against resistance, your brain rewires. Literally. You build new pathways. You make discipline easier. You make weakness louder and less convincing. It's not about perfection, it's about pressure. Apply small, daily pressure to your habits and they will reshape your mind. You don't need their permission. Your growth is not a group project. You have a choice. Let me tell you the brutal truth. If your brain had its way, you would stay exactly where you are. Same habits. Same limits. Same story. It is designed to preserve the present, not create the future. That's the key. The future is built by disobeying your default programming. It's not about nature, it's about nurture. You nurture discipline or you nurture weakness. There is no middle ground. You don't need their permission. Not even from yourself. You have a choice. End this chapter with a command. Tonight, sit in silence for 5 minutes with no stimulation. No phone. No music. No escape. Let your brain panic. Let it beg. And stay. Because that moment of resistance is the gym for your mind. You've learned why your brain fights you. Now it's time to remove the biggest lie it tells. Chapter 4. Motivation is a liar. Motivation is not your ally. It is your most convincing enemy. It speaks softly. It sounds logical. It waits until you are tired, stressed, or overwhelmed, then it offers you a deal. Not now. Tomorrow will be better. You deserve to rest. You have a choice. You can obey that voice and stay exactly where you are. Or you can move while every cell in your body is asking you to stop. That's the key. Motivation does not lead action. Action creates motivation. Read that again. Motivation does not come first. Movement does. Every time you wait to feel ready, you are telling your brain a dangerous lie. I am powerless until I feel good. It's not about feeling strong, it's about acting strong. Your brain is a prediction machine. It predicts your future based on your past behavior. When you delay, it learns that delay is your identity. When you move despite resistance, it learns that action is who you are. You don't need their permission. Not from your mood. Not from your energy. Not from your emotional state. You have a choice. Look at your life honestly. How many things are you about to start? How many plans are you almost ready for? How many ideas are trapped behind preparation? That's the key. Preparation feels productive, but it is often just procrastination wearing clean clothes. It's not about planning, it's about discipline. Discipline begins where motivation ends. You don't rise when you feel inspired. You rise when you are tired, bored, uncertain, and you move anyway. You don't need their permission. Your fear does not get a vote. You have a choice. Let me explain why motivation lies to you. Your brain evolved to save energy, not to chase purpose. It does not care about your dreams. It cares about comfort. So when it senses effort ahead, it cuts the signal. That's the key. It does not say, I am afraid. It says, let's do this later. It's not about laziness, it's about discipline. And discipline is trained, not discovered. Here is how you break the lie. You never wait for motivation to start. You start to create motivation. You shrink the task until your brain cannot argue with it. 2 minutes. 1 page. 1 push-up. 1 message. That's the key. The smallest visible action destroys the fantasy of waiting. Because once you move, something shifts. Your chemistry changes. Your posture changes. Your identity changes. It's not about the size of the action, it's about the direction. You don't need their permission. Not from your doubts. Not from your past failures. You have a choice. Let me make this painful. Every time you say, I'm not in the mood, you are surrendering control of your life to your emotions. You are letting chemistry decide your destiny. That's the key. Strong people do not feel different. They behave different. It's not about confidence, it's about discipline. Confidence is built after action, not before it. You don't feel capable, then act. You act, then feel capable. You don't need their permission. Your old identity will fight you here. It will tell you stories. It will remind you of past mistakes. It will show you everything that could go wrong. That is not intuition. That is self-preservation. You have a choice. You can protect the old version of you. Or you can kill it. This is your new rule. When resistance appears, you do not negotiate. You move. That's the key. No analysis. No debate. No waiting. Movement first. Feeling later. It's not about motivation, it's about discipline. Here is your training protocol. For the next 7 days, commit to a no-delay rule. When you think of a task, you either start it within 10 seconds, or you schedule it immediately with a fixed time. No floating intentions. No later. No mental notes. That's the key. Your brain respects structure. Give it structure or it will create excuses. You don't need their permission. Not from your environment. Not from the people who are comfortable staying average. You have a choice. Your life is not blocked by lack of motivation. It is blocked by excess waiting. And waiting is just fear in slow motion. It's not about courage, it's about discipline. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the refusal to obey it. You don't need their permission. Not even from yourself. You have a choice. End this chapter with this command. The next time you say, I don't feel like it, do the opposite. Stand up. Touch the work. Begin the first physical step. Because motivation is a liar. And action is the only language your future understands. You've stopped waiting. Now it's time to erase the version of you that keeps protecting the past. Chapter 5. Kill the old you. The version of you that created your current life cannot take you where you want to go next. Read that again. Slowly. Growth is not addition. Growth is subtraction. It is not about becoming more, it is about removing what no longer serves you. You have a choice. You can protect the identity that feels familiar, or you can destroy it to build something stronger. That's the key. Every habit you defend is a future you accept. Every pattern you protect becomes your prison. It's not about your past, it's about discipline. The old you was built on avoidance, comfort, and emotional shortcuts. You don't evolve by upgrading that system, you evolve by deleting it. You don't need their permission. Not from your family who still see the old you, not from friends who prefer you predictable, not from your own fear of change. You have a choice. Look at your life. What part of you are you still protecting even though it is failing you? The way you speak to yourself. The way you spend your evenings. The way you escape pressure instead of facing it. That's the key. You can't evolve while protecting old habits because habits are not behaviors, they are identities in motion. It's not about weakness, it's about discipline. Weak habits feel like comfort, but they are really loyalty to a version of you that is already expired. You don't need their permission. You don't need to explain your growth. You don't need approval to change your standards. You have a choice. Most people want change without loss. They want new results with the same routines. They want a new life without a new identity. That is impossible. That's the key. The old you is not evil. It is outdated. It was built to survive a different version of your life. But survival is not success. It's not about survival, it's about discipline. Discipline is the willingness to betray your past to honor your future. You don't need their permission. Not from the voice in your head that says you have always been this way.
You have a choice.
Here is where transformation becomes real. Write down the 3 habits that define your current identity. Not the habits you wish you had, the ones you actually repeat. The late nights, the distractions, the emotional eating, the silent quitting.
That's the key.
These are not small behaviors. They are the architecture of your life. It's not about flaws, it's about discipline. You don't remove them gently. You replace them aggressively. For every habit you remove, you install a harder one.
If you scroll, you walk. If you complain, you plan.
If you delay, you execute. You don't negotiate with the old you. You override it. You don't need their permission. The old you will resist. It will tell you that you are losing yourself. That is the lie. You are not losing yourself, you are upgrading your identity.
You have a choice.
Every time you feel discomfort when you change a pattern, that is proof you are killing something that was never meant to survive.
That's the key.
Comfort is the language of the old you. Resistance is the language of growth. It's not about comfort, it's about discipline. Discipline is the act of choosing the future version of you over the present version of you. You don't need their permission. Not from your habits, not from your cravings, not from your routines.
You have a choice.
Let me give you a ritual.
At the end of each day, write 1 sentence.
Today I acted like the old me when, and fill the blank.
Then write another sentence.
Tomorrow I will act like the new me by, and fill that blank with a behavior, not a feeling.
That's the key.
You don't become someone new by wishing, you become someone new by rehearsing. It's not about identity, it's about discipline. You rehearse the person you want to be until that performance becomes reality. You don't need their permission. Your past does not get a vote in your future unless you keep inviting it.
You have a choice.
Killing the old you is not a one-time event. It is a daily execution. You remove it in small moments when nobody is watching. When you stand up instead of scrolling. When you speak honestly instead of hiding. When you finish instead of escaping.
That's the key.
Every one of those moments is a funeral for the version of you that stayed average. It's not about fear, it's about discipline. Fear will always appear when identity is threatened. Discipline is what makes you walk through it anyway. You don't need their permission. Not from your doubts, not from your fatigue, not from the comfort that feels like home.
You have a choice.
End this chapter with this command. Tonight, choose one habit that represents the old you and remove it tomorrow. Not later, tomorrow. Replace it with a harder behavior and repeat it for 7 days. Because growth requires loss of identity. You cannot evolve while protecting what is holding you back. You have destroyed the comfort version of yourself. Now let's build the quiet system that replaces it. Chapter 6: Silent Discipline Wins.
You don't need applause.
You need progress. Most people don't fail because they are lazy. They fail because they are loud.
They announce. They post. They talk.
They build an identity out of words instead of actions. And then they wonder why nothing changes.
Here is the truth.
Loud goals don't change lives. Quiet systems do.
That's the key.
Your life doesn't improve when people know your plans. It improves when your habits are stronger than your moods.
You have a choice. You can chase attention.
Or you can chase results. And every time you open your mouth instead of doing the work, you are choosing comfort. It's not about motivation, it's about discipline.
The addiction to being seen.
The modern world rewards noise.
Likes. Views. Comments.
Every little reaction hits your brain with dopamine. It feels like progress.
But it's not.
It's emotional comfort disguised as ambition. You post the goal. You feel productive.
You stop pushing.
Your mind checks the box before the work is done. That's why people love to announce their plans. Because talking is easier than changing.
You have a choice.
You can keep training your brain to crave validation. Or you can train it to crave execution.
That's the key.
Nobody needs to see your grind. Not your family.
Not your friends. Not your followers.
You don't need their permission to work. Why silence makes you dangerous. When you move in silence, something powerful happens. You remove pressure. You remove comparison. You remove the need to perform. Now the only person you have to face is yourself.
No audience. No applause. No escape.
Just the mirror. And that's where discipline is built.
Not in hype. Not in motivation. Not in big speeches. In repetition.
It's not about excitement, it's about consistency. Silent discipline makes you dangerous because nobody sees you coming. They only see the result.
Overnight success. Out of nowhere.
But you know the truth. It was never overnight. It was every quiet morning. Every ignored craving. Every boring rep.
That's the key.
Loud people burn out. Look at the pattern. The loudest people are always the ones who disappear.
They start strong. They talk big. They promise change. And then they vanish.
Why? Because their energy is spent on image, not identity. They are busy proving instead of improving. It's not about image, it's about discipline. You don't need their permission to work. You don't need anyone to clap for you.
You have a choice.
You can be impressive for a week. Or unstoppable for a decade.
Build systems, not stories.
Your life is not built by stories. I'm trying. I'm starting. I'm planning. Those words are comfort. Your life is built by systems. What time you wake up. What you do when you don't feel like it. What you refuse to negotiate with.
That's discipline.
Here is a system you can start today.
Not tomorrow. Not next week. Today.
System 1, the non-negotiable hour. Pick 1 hour of your day.
The same hour. Every day.
In that hour, you work on your main goal.
No phone.
No music. No excuses. That hour is sacred. It doesn't care about your mood. It doesn't care about your stress. It doesn't care about your story. It only cares about execution.
You have a choice. Protect that hour. Or protect your comfort. That's the key.
Kill the need to be understood. One of the most dangerous needs you have is the need to be understood. You want people to get you. To support you. To validate your struggle. That need will keep you average forever. Strong people are misunderstood. They change quietly.
They disappear for months. They come back different.
And nobody saw the work. That's not loneliness. That's focus. It's not about being liked, it's about being effective. You don't need their permission to work. Discipline lives in the boring. Everyone loves the highlight. The transformation photo.
The success story. The big win.
But discipline doesn't live there. Discipline lives in the boring. The days when nothing is happening. The sessions that feel useless. The routines that feel invisible. That's where most people quit. Because there is no reward.
No dopamine. No praise. Just effort. You have a choice. You can chase the moment.
Or you can build the foundation.
That's the key. The quiet scoreboard. Here's a rule.
If you are constantly telling people what you're doing, you're probably not doing enough. Real work changes how you move. Your energy.
Your posture. Your decisions. You don't need to say it. They will feel it. Create a private scoreboard. Not in public. Not online. On paper.
Every day you show up, you mark a win. Every day you skip, you mark a loss.
No stories. No explanations. Just truth.
It's not about excuses, it's about standards. Stop leaking your energy. Every conversation about your goals leaks energy. Every explanation weakens urgency. You turn action into discussion. And discussion is comfort. From today, try this. When someone asks about your plans, answer short. I'm working.
That's it. No detail. No drama.
Silence is discipline.
That's the key.
The power of unseen growth. The greatest advantage you can have is invisibility. When nobody expects anything from you, you are free.
Free to fail. Free to adjust. Free to rebuild.
There is no pressure to perform. Only pressure to improve.
You have a choice.
You can build in public and protect your ego. Or build in silence and protect your future. It's not about recognition, it's about results. Your quiet identity. Identity is not what you say you are. It's what you do when nobody is watching. If you only work when people see you, you are not disciplined.
You are dependent.
Discipline is who you are in silence.
At 5 a.m.
When you are tired. When nobody will know.
That's the moment. That's the test.
You don't need their permission to work.
The end of noise. From today, reduce the noise. Less talking. Less posting. Less explaining. More structure. More routine. More quiet execution.
You don't need a new goal. You need a new standard.
You have a choice. Keep performing. Or start building. That's the key.
You learned that silence is not weakness.
It is focus.
You learned that loud goals fade, but quiet systems endure. Now that you've killed the need to be seen, you're ready to face the force that breaks most people.
You mastered silence. Now let's sharpen your weapon.
Chapter 7: Pressure Builds Power. Stress is not your enemy.
Weakness is.
Pressure is not what breaks you. It is what reveals you. Every time your heart races. Every time your mind screams. Every time life tightens its grip. That moment is not a threat.
It is an invitation. You have a choice.
Collapse under pressure.
Or become forged by it. That's the key.
It's not about comfort, it's about control. Why you run from pressure. Your brain is designed for survival, not success. It avoids danger. It avoids discomfort. It avoids effort. That wiring kept your ancestors alive. But it is keeping you average. Every time pressure appears, your mind looks for escape.
Distraction. Excuses. Delay.
That reaction feels natural. But discipline is not natural.
It is trained.
It's not about fear, it's about discipline. You don't need their permission to work. The lie about stress. You were taught that stress is bad. That you should avoid it.
Manage it. Reduce it. Here is the truth.
A life with no pressure is a life with no growth. Your muscles grow under load. Your character grows under tension. Your discipline grows under resistance.
No pressure. No power. You have a choice.
Treat stress as damage. Or treat it as training.
That's the key.
Weakness is what cracks. Pressure only destroys what is already fragile. If your identity is built on comfort, pressure will shatter it. If your identity is built on discipline, pressure will sharpen it. That is why two people can face the same problem.
One breaks. One becomes unrecognizable.
It's not about the problem, it's about preparation. Train while it's easy. Most people wait for crisis to become serious.
Divorce. Failure. Loss.
Then they say, "This changed me."
No.
This exposed you. You don't build strength in chaos. You reveal it. Strength is built in calm. When life is quiet. When nobody is watching. When nothing is wrong. That's when you train. So when pressure arrives, you are not surprised.
You are ready. You have a choice. Train now. Or panic later.
Pressure rehearsal. Here is your first system. System 1, voluntary hardship. Every day, choose one uncomfortable action.
Cold shower. Hard conversation. Extra set. Early wake up.
Not because you need it, but because you are training your response to resistance. You are teaching your nervous system that pressure is normal. It's not about pain, it's about discipline.
That's the key. The discipline of staying calm.
Power is not screaming louder. Power is staying steady while everything shakes. Pressure hijacks weak minds. They rush. They react. They spiral. Disciplined minds slow down.
Breathe. Assess. Act. Not emotional. Intentional.
You don't need their permission to stay composed.
Stop protecting yourself.
Every time you protect yourself from stress, you weaken yourself.
You avoid the call. You skip the task.
You delay the work.
You call it self-care. It's not. It's comfort.
It's not about safety, it's about discipline.
You have a choice.
Harden your nervous system. Or keep coddling your weakness.
That's the key. The pressure test.
From now on, ask one question when things get heavy. What would a disciplined person do right now? Not a motivated person.
Not a confident person. A disciplined person. Then do that.
Even when your hands shake. Even when your chest is tight. Even when your mind begs for escape. This is how control is built. Pressure creates identity. You are not defined by your best day. You are defined by your hardest one. The day you didn't want to move. The day you wanted to quit. The day everything said stop. And you continued. That moment rewires your identity.
Not in theory. In blood.
You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your discipline.
That's the key. Build a pressure routine. System 2, the pressure block.
Set aside 20 minutes every day. This is not your normal work. This is your stress training.
Do the hardest task first. No warm-up. No easing in.
Sit with the discomfort.
No phone.
No music.
No escape.
Your job is not to finish.
Your job is to stay.
Stay while it burns. Stay while your mind fights. Stay while your body resists. This is not about productivity. It's about control. When life squeezes you, pressure will come whether you prepare or not.
Deadlines. Loss. Conflict.
But now you will recognize it.
This is the forge. This is the fire.
You don't ask why.
You ask how.
How do I respond with discipline? That question changes everything. The end of comfort thinking. From this chapter forward, pressure is no longer a problem.
It is a signal.
A signal that growth is available. A signal that weakness is being exposed. A signal that you have work to do.
You have a choice. Resent pressure. Or respect it. That's the key.
You now understand that stress is not here to hurt you. It is here to shape you. You stopped running from pressure. Now you must learn to aim your energy. Because without direction, even the strongest mind drifts. You mastered resistance. Now let's sharpen your aim. Chapter 8. Focus is a weapon. Distraction is the modern disease. It doesn't look dangerous.
It looks normal. A message. A scroll. A notification. Tiny cuts to your attention. And attention is your life.
You don't lose your future in one big mistake. You leak it in 1,000 small distractions.
You have a choice.
Control your focus. Or let the world rent your mind.
That's the key. Clarity kills chaos. The age of noise.
Your brain was never built for this environment.
Constant updates.
Endless opinions. Permanent urgency. Your mind is under siege. Not by failure. By fragmentation. It's not about busyness, it's about discipline. Busy people feel productive. Focused people become powerful. You don't need their permission to protect your mind. Why one goal beats 10 dreams? Most people don't lack ambition. They lack direction. They want to build a business.
Get in shape. Learn a skill.
Fix relationships.
Find purpose. All at once.
That is not drive. That is dilution. When everything matters, nothing moves.
You have a choice.
Scatter your effort.
Or weaponize it. That's the key. Pick one goal. Not the easiest.
Not the most exciting. The one that changes everything else. Then make it your standard. It's not about options, it's about discipline. The lie of multitasking. Multitasking is celebrated.
It should be ashamed.
Every time you switch tasks, you restart your brain. You lose momentum. You weaken your edge. It's not about speed, It's about depth. Depth creates mastery. Mastery creates freedom. You don't need their permission to slow down to win. The open loop prison. Unfinished tasks live rent-free in your head. Emails you didn't answer. Projects you never closed. Decisions you delayed. They clutter your mind. Write everything down. All tasks. All ideas. All obligations. Then circle one. Only one. The mission. Everything else is secondary. You have a choice. Carry mental noise. Or clear the channel. That's the key. Build the focus environment. You don't become focused by trying harder. You become focused by removing friction. Delete the apps that steal your time. Mute the people who steal your energy. Design your space for depth. No colors on your phone. No notifications on your desk. No open tabs in your browser. It's not about strength, it's about discipline. The focus block. System 1, Daily Focus Block. Every day, schedule a 30-minute block. Not flexible. Not negotiable. One task. One goal. No music. No messages. No escape. Your job is not to feel inspired. Your job is to stay. Stay when it's boring. Stay when your mind rebels. Stay when your body wants out. That's how focus is forged. Attention is a skill. Focus is not something you have. It's something you train. At first your mind will fight. It will wander. It will protest. It will invent urgency. Ignore it. Return to the task. Again. And again. And again. That repetition is discipline. That's the key. The discipline of saying no. Every yes to noise is a no to your future. Not all opportunities are good. Not all invitations deserve your time. Protect your calendar like your life depends on it. Because it does. You don't need their permission to decline distraction. Focus creates identity. Your habits shape your identity. Your focus shapes your destiny. When you show up to one thing every day, you become that thing. Writer. Builder. Leader. Not by announcement. By repetition. It's not about talent, it's about discipline. From chaos to command. From today forward, live by one rule. If it doesn't move your main goal, it is noise. Silence it. Remove it. Ignore it. You have a choice. Let distraction shape you. Or let clarity sharpen you. That's the key. You no longer run from pressure. You now aim it. But pressure without truth becomes delusion. And the greatest lie you face is the one you tell yourself. You mastered focus. Now face the comfort that hides inside your excuses. Chapter 9. Excuses are emotional comfort. Every excuse is comfort in disguise. It doesn't look weak. It looks reasonable. It sounds responsible. It even sounds smart. But it is still comfort. And comfort always collects interest later. You don't fail because life is unfair. You fail because you protect your feelings more than your standards. You have a choice. Justify. Or dominate. That's the key. You don't need reasons. You need standards. The secret job of every excuse. An excuse is not a mistake. It is a function. Its job is simple. Reduce pain. Protect identity. Preserve comfort. When the task feels heavy, your brain searches for relief. Not solutions. Relief. I'm tired. I've had a long day. I'll start tomorrow. Those are not explanations. They are emotional sedatives. It's not about circumstances, it's about discipline. Why excuses feel so convincing. Your nervous system is wired for safety. When pressure rises, it wants to calm the threat. An excuse does that instantly. It lowers the internal alarm. It relaxes the standard. It gives you permission to be smaller. And the moment you accept it, your future pays the price. You have a choice. Absorb discomfort. Or anesthetize it with a story. That's the key. The standard you secretly live by. Everyone talks about their goals. Few talk about their standards. Goals are what you want. Standards are what you accept. If your standard is do it when I feel like it, your life will always be unstable. High standards don't argue with excuses. They execute anyway. You don't need their permission to hold the line. The words that keep you average. Listen to your own language. Just this once. I deserve a break. It won't matter today. Each phrase sounds harmless. Together they build a weak identity. You train yourself to negotiate with failure. It's not about vocabulary, it's about discipline. Replace reasons with rules. Here is the transformation. You stop explaining your behavior. You start defining it. System 1, Non-negotiable rules. Write 3 rules that describe who you are now. Not who you hope to be. Who you act as. Examples. I start the hardest task first. I move my body every day. I finish what I begin. When emotion rises, rules respond. That's the key. The death of inner debate. Excuses need discussion. Standards do not. The moment you start bargaining with yourself, you have already chosen comfort. From today, eliminate debate. You decide once. Then you execute on command. You don't need their permission to stop negotiating with your weakness. Track your escape patterns. Stop reviewing your dreams. Review your exits. When things get hard, where do you go? Your phone? Your bed? Your excuses? Those patterns are your real identity. You have a choice. Repeat the loop. Or break it. The pain protocol. Discomfort is not the enemy. It is the test. Every time resistance shows up, ask one question. What would a disciplined person do right now? Then do exactly that. Not tomorrow. Not when it feels better. Now. It's not about courage, it's about discipline. Why standards feel lonely. When you stop making excuses, people feel exposed. They tell you to relax. To slow down. To stop being extreme. They are not protecting you. They are protecting their comfort. Average hates mirrors. You don't need their permission to outgrow the room. End the comfort contract. Excuses are a contract you signed unconsciously. They promise emotional relief in exchange for long-term regret. From today, that contract is void. No explaining. No justifying. No defending weakness. It's not about feeling ready, it's about discipline. You have a choice. Defend your comfort. Or dominate your behavior. That's the key. You just strip the mask off every excuse you've ever used. You no longer hide behind stories. Now you build something permanent. Not motivation. Not emotion. Identity. You stopped justifying. Now you become relentless. Chapter 10. Become hard to kill. You don't become mentally tough in a crisis. You reveal what you trained before the crisis. That's the truth most people don't want to hear. They want a heroic moment. A movie scene. A breakdown that magically turns into a breakthrough. It doesn't work that way. Mental toughness is built daily. In silence. When nobody is watching. When there is no applause. That's the key. You have a choice. Train your mind now. Or beg it to save you later. Most people wait for pain to change them. They wait for heartbreak. Failure. Loss. Illness. Humiliation. Then they panic. Then they look for motivation. Then they start watching videos. Reading quotes. Begging for energy. It's not about motivation, it's about discipline. Discipline is not a feeling. It is an identity. You don't wake up and ask, "Do I feel disciplined today?" That question alone proves you don't have it. The disciplined person doesn't negotiate with the mirror. They act. You have a choice. Become hard to kill. Or remain fragile. Fragile people shatter when routine breaks. They fall apart when sleep is bad. When money is tight. When relationships shift. When the world does not behave politely. Hard to kill people adjust. They don't collapse. They don't dramatize. They recalibrate. That's the key. Becoming hard to kill is not about suffering. It's about conditioning. A soldier doesn't train in battle. A fighter doesn't build stamina in the ring. A surgeon doesn't practice during surgery. They prepare long before the pressure arrives. So why are you waiting for pressure to build your discipline?
You have a choice.
Start with this rule. Never let comfort be your default state. Comfort weakens you. Comfort erodes your edge. Comfort makes you soft in ways you don't notice until it's too late. It's not about pain, it's about discipline. Discipline means you willingly do small uncomfortable things daily. You wake up when you said you would.
You finish what you start.
You move your body when you don't feel like it. You sit with boredom instead of escaping it. You keep your word to yourself. These aren't heroic acts. They are microscopic.
But they accumulate.
Mental toughness is compound interest for the soul. One disciplined action doesn't change your life. 1,000 do.
That's the key. You have a choice.
To practice resilience. Or to outsource it to emergencies. Let me tell you what hard to kill really means.
It means
you don't crumble when plans fail. You don't emotionally explode when expectations aren't met. You don't spiral when energy is low.
You stay functional.
You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need the mood. You don't need their permission. Because discipline is your identity. Now, here's where most people lie to themselves. They say, I'm strong. They say, I've been through a lot. They say, you don't know my story. But strength is not your past. It's your daily behavior. It's not about trauma, it's about training. Trauma does not make you tough. It makes you reactive.
Unpredictable.
Triggered. Training makes you stable. Hard to kill is calm under stress. Hard to kill is structure in chaos. Hard to kill is decision without drama.
That's the key.
So here is the system.
Simple.
Unforgiving.
Rule 1, no 0 days.
A 0 day is when you do nothing meaningful for your future.
Not a marathon. Not perfection. Just something. 5 push-ups.
1 paragraph. 10 minutes of reading. 1 hard conversation you've been avoiding.
You have a choice.
Be a victim of momentum.
Or a builder of it.
0 days are how people quietly decay. Rule 2, remove the safety net of excuses. Every time you say, I'll start tomorrow, you teach your mind that words are fake. You don't need motivation. You need standards. Set 1 rule you never break.
1.
Maybe it's waking up at a fixed time. Maybe it's daily movement. Maybe it's journaling. Your mind respects what is consistent, not what is intense.
That's the key.
Rule 3, starve the inner negotiator. That voice in your head that says, just today. You deserve a break. It won't matter. That voice is not you. It is your weakness wearing your accent. Stop debating with it. You don't need their permission, including your own. Action kills negotiation. You don't wait to feel ready. You move, and readiness follows. It's not about feeling strong, it's about acting disciplined. Rule 4, build friction against your bad habits. Make it hard to be weak. Delete the apps. Unplug the distractions. Change the environment. People say they lack willpower. They really lack strategy. Hard to kill people don't rely on motivation. They redesign their world. That's the key. Rule 5, embrace controlled hardship. Cold showers. Long walks without music. Workouts when you're tired. Doing the task you hate first. Not to punish yourself. To inoculate yourself. Small doses of discomfort build tolerance. You are teaching your nervous system. I can function without comfort. That's how you become hard to kill.
You have a choice.
Stay addicted to ease. Or train your resilience. Because life is not gentle.
It never was.
It never will be. But you can be relentless. Relentless is quiet. Relentless doesn't announce itself. Relentless just shows up. Day after day. No matter the weather. No matter the mood. It's not about motivation, it's about discipline. Look at your life right now. Where are you soft?
Where do you fold first? Sleep? Food? Work? Relationships?
That weakness is not shameful. It is a map. A map to where your training must begin.
That's the key.
You don't need a dramatic overhaul. You need ruthless consistency.
One standard. One habit.
One promise you stop breaking. Because every time you keep a promise to yourself, you become harder to kill.
Not physically. Mentally. You stop panicking.
You stop bargaining.
You stop running.
You become someone who handles pressure without collapse. That is the line between average and formidable.
You have a choice.
Remain a person who needs perfect conditions.
Or become a person who is the condition.
And here's the final truth of this chapter. Discipline is not what you do.
It is who you are becoming.
You don't install discipline like an app. You embody it like a code. And codes do not change with emotion. They execute. You don't need their permission.
You don't need applause.
You don't need motivation. You need identity. This is where average ends. This is where excuses die. This is where you stop waiting and start becoming.
You have a choice. Become hard to kill.
Because the world will test you. Relentlessly. And when it does, you won't rise to the occasion. You will fall to your training.
So train. Daily. Quietly. Without negotiation. That's the key. Comfort is over.
You've seen the truth. Every time you choose easy, you bury your potential. Every time you choose discipline, you resurrect your future.
You don't need more time.
You don't need permission. You have a choice: grow or stay average. Right now, kill one comfort habit today. Because the life you want is not found in ease, it is built in resistance.